What is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another video. So today we're going to answer a solid question, okay? And that's a question that a lot of us had for a very long time, and that is what actually happened to the dinosaurs on Isla Nublar, because we never went back to that island. And honestly, it was kind of like up in the air as to what actually happened to them all the way until after actually Jurassic World movie came out, where we got this. So this is the little bit of expanded media. It's the Dinosaur Protection Group website. Now, this website was created after essentially the downfall of Jurassic World, but what it does do is it actually gives us a little bit of insight into what happened to the dinosaurs on Isla Nublar. So the reason I'm kind of putting this one here is because this is about information from the dinosaurs that were on Isla Nublar and not Isla, and kind of some information on what was on Isla Sorna. So I think it's kind of like a good bridge. But you guys can also go and check out this website. I'll leave the links to it in the comments down below. It also answers some really cool questions for us, like how did the T-Rex just walk out of its paddock after breaking out, but then Alan and the kids went down a giant cliff, coming from the same spot? It never made sense. And then they gave us this video, which, as you guys can see, shows the Brachiosaurus walking up a hill. And that's kind of what we all thought back in the day, but this just kind of proved it. But what I would like to go over today, because this has all kinds of expanded lore, and I'm going to save that for future videos, is Ingen's list. So we hear about Ingen's list in Jurassic Park 3 when Alan and Billy are discussing the Spinosaurus, and Billy goes, I don't remember that being on Ingen's list, and Alan goes, well, that's because it wasn't. Well, here we actually have Ingen's list of the dinosaurs that they had on Isla Nublar. So I thought we'd just kind of go over this little thing. So this first one just says sensitive material, copying and redistribution, blah blah. Internal eyes only. Employee blank, Dennis Nedry, proceeded to initiate a premeditated attack on the park systems, which were sabotaged by a deep-coded virus, resulting in a loss of power to security systems and a secondary backup generator to the cold embryo storage room. Evidence obtained during the 1994 cleanup suggests the insulated pipes which transferred liquid nitrogen to the embryo storage units were also severed during sabotage. This caused a considerable rise in temperature, resulting in a total loss of all viable embryos at Nublar Resort. So basically that means all of the embryos that you saw in the scene where Nedry was taking the embryos from, none of those made it. They lost all of those assets. Additionally, extensive water damage from burst pipe leading to the artificial lake outside the visitor center also caused considerable damage to embryo storage units and to the exposed foundation within the lower levels of the building. Once embryo storage units was completely buckled from the force of the flooding, resulting in the remaining embryos being washed away. Investigations into what caused the pipes to burst have yet to reach a conclusive answer. However, minor tectonic activity was suggested, pending further investigation. So Mount Sibo, which is the volcano that was actually on Isla Nublar that explodes in Fallen Kingdom, was kind of showing signs of being active for a long time before it actually erupted. Motive unknown. Exact motives behind the sabotage are still unclear. However, an examination into employees' potential involvement with corporate espionage is still underway after park veterinarian it's blanked out, disclosed information in personal report suggesting embryos were stolen in an effort to sell to competing companies. International Genetic Technologies private and legal teams are currently investigating further. Location of deceased employee. The remains of blank, Dennis Nedry, were discovered during 1994 cleanup located outside tunnel leading towards the east dock. Postmortem concludes the cause of death as, well, let's face it, we all know the cause of death. He was eaten alive. So that's a little background as to what happened to the embryos. Now, this is a video of all the dinosaurs we actually saw in Jurassic Park in the movie. So this is actually a comprehensive list of all the dinosaurs that we could have seen if we were on the island during that time. Asset damages, Nublar. Following 1993 sabotage, DNA percentage based on viability for cloning. So essentially, once the park incident happened, they actually did do a cleanup and they went to just kind of assess everything. That's when they found the embryos, and they also did a full tally on all the dinosaurs that they actually had active on the island and how many of them were still living and survived. Asset damages, Nublar. Following 1993 sabotage, DNA percentage based on viability for cloning. Herbivores, Stegosaurus. Previous status active, current status active. DNA 100%. Note, Viable embryos were destroyed by sabotage of cold storage units, and the remaining samples were lost due to water damage. Despite this loss of valuable materials on Nublar, the animal is currently active on Isla Sorna. 2. Brachiosaurus. Previous state, active. Current state, active. Notes. Viable embryo destroyed by sabotage of cold storage units, and the remaining samples were lost. It just kind of repeats that multiple times, so I'm not going to just reread it every single time. Animal is currently active on Isla Sorna and Nublar. Parasaurolophus. Previous state, active. Current state, active. Despite this loss of valuable material, animal is currently active on Isla Sorna and Isla Nublar. Triceratops. Previous state, active. Current state, active. Currently active on Isla Sorna and Nublar. Gallimimus. Currently active on Isla Sorna and Nublar. Corinthosaurus, previous status 0, inactive, current status 0, inactive. Viable embryos destroyed by sabotage of cold storage units and water damage. Despite the loss of valuable material, current DNA samples were retrieved during evacuation of Site B. Production of this assets are currently on hold until further notice, pending update. Carnivores, Baryonyx. Previous status active, current status active. Currently active on Isla Sorna. Tyrannosaurus Rex. Previous status active, current status active. Viable embryos destroyed by sabotage of cold storage, currently active on Isla Sorna and Nublar. Compsognathus. Viable embryos destroyed, so currently active on Isla Sorna and was discovered on Nublar during 1994 cleanup. Compsognathus actually managed to sneak over to Isla Nublar from Isla Sorna and nobody even knew about it. So they kind of stole a little bit from the novels there, where the compies were actually escaping off the island. Dilophosaurus, currently active on Isla Sorna and Nublar. Velociraptors, killed. Previous status is X'd out. Current status is checked active. Killed during 93 incident. And then they scribbled out where they had Isla Nublar, so it's only active on Isla Sorna. Metracanthosaurus had none active, none active. That one was on hold until further notice. Herrerasaurus, previously active on Nublar. 4 individuals were alive prior to sabotage of the park in systems. All were found dead during 1994 cleanup. Viable embryos were destroyed during the cold storage. Current DNA samples were retrieved during evacuation of Site B, and its production was on hold. So basically all the Herrerasaurus that were on the island died. Segisaurus, basically that one also, production's on hold. And as you guys can see, like, there are a bunch of percentages here, and I just don't need to do the 100%, 70%. You guys can see that on screen. And then Proceratosaurus, previous status 0, inactive, current status terminated. Viable embryos were destroyed by sabotage of cold storage units and extensive water damage. DNA samples were lost during the evacuation of Site B. Status has been set to terminated until 2 new DNA samples are discovered. Pending update. Notes: Operation Clean Sweep canceled. Remaining Nublar assets, organic/inorganic, abandoned, press/public information to be monitored and regulated. So that was pretty much Ingen's list of all the dinosaurs that were active during the time of Jurassic Park, and what pretty much was just left to fend for itself on Nublar. Now, what this websites also give you is a little bit of background into what Rexy did on that island during the entire time. So I thought we could just kind of go ahead and look into that as well. It's just a short little paragraph in the website, but it gives us some idea of how she actually managed to survive all the way up to Jurassic World. To better understand the relationship between predator and prey in dinosaurs, let's focus on the most infamous ruler of Isla Nublar, the Tyrannosaurus Rex, and its effects on the ecosystem over the years. The female Tyrannosaurus was first introduced to Isla Nublar in 1989, having spent the first years of her life in a small enclosure on Isla Sorna along with several other of her species. The paddock at Jurassic Park was originally built to house 2 T-Rexes, which they kind of would have taken from the novel, but with only one active on Nublar during the incident in 1993, this impressive animal would remain unchallenged as the island's apex predator for almost a decade. Tyrannosaurus of that size requires a large amount of meat every day to survive, and during the years before Jurassic World, she was never without things to hunt. The rate at which this T-Rex consumed prey was proportional to the size of the island, which was big enough for some prey to successfully hide from predators, but not too big for the T-Rex to lose track of her food sources completely. Despite suffering from a nasty case of ragged tooth and mild malnutrition upon her recapture in 2002, this powerful giant had successfully survived by hunting Parasaurolophus, Gallimimus, and a herd of goats that had been abandoned on the island by Ingen. By keeping their population numbers at a constant level, the Tyrannosaurus helped maintain a healthy ecosystem merely through her natural predatory behavior. But now, she's not alone. And that part of the article is actually going to have to wait for another video. But it just kind of gives you a little bit of an idea on how Rexy managed to make it all the way through. And there's more information that, if this video gets like 20 likes, I'll go ahead and just do a deep dive into Rexy and her life throughout the Jurassic Park / Jurassic World movies and timelines. But that's a little bit of the Dinosaur Protection Group website. Please go over there and just check it out for yourself. It actually has a lot of fun information, and it just kind of acts as a really good bridge, at least that it, in my opinion, it does, for Ingen's list to kind of show us what was surviving on Isla Nublar. And this is kind of the last time we go to Isla Nublar before we're going to make it all the way to Jurassic World. So, hey, let me know what you guys think, though, in the comments down below, guys. Did you guys know about any of the other dinosaurs that were active on the island at that time? And what do you guys think of this website? I'd like to know in the comments down below. While you're down there, though, guys, please remember to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, turn on that notification bell so you never miss another video from me. And I will see you guys in the next video.